Good morning, folks. We'll get started in just a minute here. Okay, the bell strikes 9. Good morning, folks. We'll get rocking and rolling here. Hello and welcome to our spring product launch. My name is Dan Rose. I'm the product marketer here at Showbie. If you've been with Showbie a while, you may recognize me from such places as your inbox or the small floating head that pops up in the corner of the app. Today, however, I am your real-life host, and I am super excited to introduce you to 8 new Showbie features to support deeper engagement and more flexibility in your teaching and learning. So, quick housekeeping note. As people may have discerned by now, there was some British summertime shenanigans. And if you have to hop out at any point, no sweat. We will send out this video recording and some resources after for you to review and share. But we'll hop right into it from here. So if you're new to Showbie, however, and you aren't as familiar with us, we are the K-12 learning platform designed for education, optimized for iPad, and powered by pedagogy. Our vision is to build a future where every learner can achieve their unique potential, and we work towards that by showing up to work every day to empower educators to create those personalized learning experiences that we know will support student success. So today's webinar is split into a few parts. We'll start with a run through of all the new features that you can put to work today. And from there, I'll pass things over to Colin Bram, our CEO, to give you an overview of where we're headed for the rest of 2025 and into the future. At any point throughout the webinar, feel free to post any questions you might have in our Zoom chat, and we'll try and tackle those if we've got some time at the end. So before we hop right in substantively, I would like to introduce my co-host. So Colin Bram, let the people know who you are, sir.
Thanks so much, Dan. And really excited for our webinar today and talking a little bit about some of the new things that are available in your Showbie app that we've recently released, as well as our upcoming plans. I co-founded the company back now 12 years, and so it's been quite a long time with one of the very first schools here in Canada that was using iPad back in 2013. And little did we know, there's many other schools around the globe that were doing the same. And fast forward to today, there's thousands and thousands of them, and we're really excited to be working with all of you. And I appreciate you taking the time today to learn a little bit more about our updates. And we definitely wouldn't be here without you. And we're very excited to share the news today. Dan, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Colin. Okay, so we will dive right in then. I have had the opportunity to visit dozens of schools across the UK, meeting with school and trust leaders and talking to hundreds of teachers and students who use Showbie every day. From organizations like the Windsor Academy Trust and the Arthur Terry Learning Partnership, to our friends in Glasgow and the Scottish Borders, to folks in Harlow College or at Sixth Form Bolton. It is always incredibly inspiring to me to see how Showbie can empower teachers to do their best work and engage students more deeply to help transform schools' approaches to pedagogy. Now, in those visits, we've also heard quite a bit that there are a lot of opportunities to improve the experience of using Showbie for all members of your learning community. Based on that feedback, not only have we been able to tackle some long-standing feature requests, but we've introduced some entirely new features to the Showbie platform, and I'm super excited to share those all with you today. So that was that slide. Here's all the things that are new. The first 4 features that I'm going to share with you are all available currently on version 7.9.2 of the iOS app and accessible from our Showbie Labs feature. Showbie Labs, if you aren't familiar, this is a space within Showbie where we test out new features before fully incorporating them into the platform. Showbie Labs is accessible from your account preferences, and from that Labs panel, you can see and select to test out all the new features you want to try in your classes and workflows. So that's where to find the first 4 features we're going to talk about today. The first of those features is pinning classes. So we heard from quite a few of you over quite a period of time that you wanted a way to reorder your class list to ensure that your most relevant and frequented classes could appear at the top of your class list. Now, many of you here who find yourself in multiple classes will know the extra scrolling often required to find your class buried deep down in that long class list. So great news, you can now pin classes to the top of your class list. Doing that is super easy. From that class list, you can simply long press on the class you want to pin, select pin from the options, and your class will automatically be pinned to the top of that list under a new heading called Pin Classes. Ideal for educators teaching multiple classes and subjects, particularly in those secondary contexts, or where you may have co-teaching or oversight roles that bloat your class list. Pinning classes is an easy way to keep that list organized, simplify your navigation, and streamline access to all of your classes. No more scrolling through that long list, and no more workarounds trying to reorder your class list by renaming classes with emojis and numbers. One quick piece on this note, pinning classes is unique to the user doing the pinning, so you can fully customize your class list without impacting how other users see classes in that overall class list. The next feature I want to talk to you a little bit about is link previews. So we know that teachers love to share digital content from a variety of sources to help engage their students and bring learning to life to help students go deeper into a subject, especially with video content or links to activities from other apps. Something we heard consistently from educators was that long, messy URLs posted into Showbie had a bad habit of clogging up posts and didn't display a preview, making it hard to see what the content was, where it was going, or why it was even in the portfolio in the first place. Now, when you post a URL into an assignment, you get a nice, short, clean link and a preview of the resource you've posted, making it obvious what content you want to share or what you're accessing. So whether you're adding your preferred or trusted YouTube clips about a specific subject, or you're posting Google Docs or slides, or you're linking activities from external platforms, all of those pieces of content are now much more cleanly presented, and your content is easier to find at a glance. This is a big quality of life improvement for folks that are really putting those other resources to work to use Showbie as that hub. So the next item I want to introduce is a calendar. This is a big one. We've heard quite a bit about this one, and we certainly heard how overwhelming it can be for students to manage their time and tasks, especially across multiple subjects and classes, each with their own homework and tests and projects to complete, and particularly, of course, in that secondary context where the volume of using Showbie is so much larger and spread out across multiple classes and subjects. So to make it easier for students to stay on top of important deadlines, prioritize time, and make sure they don't miss work, we've added a new calendar feature to Showbie. Now, when a teacher creates an assignment in Showbie with a due date and time, a calendar item is automatically created for this calendar. The calendar item displays the assignment name, class, and key due date details, and you can view what's due each day. You can view tasks on a weekly basis, or you can zoom out to view a whole month, making it easier for students to visualize due dates in one consolidated view, prioritize their time, plan their studies, and prepare themselves to do their best work. Bonus, tapping on the items within that calendar will actually direct you automatically to that task in that class, making it really easy to use the calendar as that sort of jumping off point to get right into work that is pressing for that day or that week. This feature is really about facilitating independent practice, and with that single place to view upcoming due dates at a glance, I think we can really reduce the cognitive load associated with managing multiple deadlines across classes and hopefully result in fewer last-minute missed or late assignments and less time wasted in class chasing students for work. With that little extra support, students can feel more organized, confident, and prepared to do their best work, and more importantly, hopefully complete it on time. The next feature I want to introduce you to is a big one. So far, you've seen a lot of features that are really handy to help manage that digital learning environment. This next feature enhances one of our most beloved pedagogically aligned Showbie features, and that is voice notes. So we know how powerful it can be for teachers to share personalized instruction and feedback using their own voice, letting them capture tone, making it easier to quickly share those precise comments and engage learners more deeply. Equally, we know how meaningful it is to ensure every student has the opportunity to share their learning in the way that works best for them. For many students, of course, that means using their voice to share, solve problems, and explain their thinking processes. And while voice notes are great for that initial hit, that initial personalized engagement, quickly referencing multiple and multi-minute voice notes within student work or an assignment can be time-consuming when you just need to review a short segment to confirm that piece of feedback or double-check your instruction or quickly review multiple voice notes from a student completing a task. So to tackle that, we added detailed transcripts automatically generated for voice notes posted within documents, in assignments, as well as in groups and class discussions. Voice notes now include a small icon in the corner, and tapping on that icon, oopsie, that was too fast. Tapping on that icon opens a transcript, and from there you can quickly skim the text, follow along with timestamps, select key segments to speed up your review, and view all of that verbal record at a glance. One cool feature of voice note transcription is you can also easily copy that transcript text to your clipboard to paste it into other tools you may be using, AI tools, for example, to help analyze responses, generate summaries or reports on student progress, or perhaps student grade or marking tracking tools that are external, or other tools that you may be using to monitor student progress. This feature is really going to extend the power of verbal tools in Showbie, and there's a lot of benefits for everyone using voice notes presently. So as a teacher, you can hear and see student thinking, enabling that better feedback faster. As a student, it's now easier to quickly revisit instruction and feedback and revisit voice notes discreetly in a noisy classroom where it can be hard to hear what that voice note is. As a school leader, you can easily get the whole picture of feedback loops in the classroom without having to listen to each voice note individually to get a sense of what that teacher-student interaction looks like. And as family members with language barriers, for example, you can imagine the impact of translating voice transcripts to open up new opportunities to engage more deeply in their child's learning with access to those instruction, lessons, and verbal feedback, comments, and posts within work and within assignments. The next feature I'm going to talk about, and this one is in the product, this one does not live in Showbie Labs. This is just baked into the product, and it's available both on web and iOS, are improvements to our portfolio. So we heard how important it was to have a digital space for teachers and students to collect, revisit, and share key work. So to that end, we've redesigned the portfolio, making it way easier to navigate, identify work, and group materials over time across both subjects and classes. Previously, it was tricky to contextualize where portfolio items came from, what they were, or why they were there. And now items are more cleanly presented as cards with handy information, providing you with context on what you're looking at. Items are also now automatically grouped into folders based on the class, subject, and year group configured in the class and assignment settings, and you can easily filter items for quick reference to sort those things out and quickly find those key pieces of work that you need to review and revisit. From the portfolio, you can also quickly pop into the task to view any detailed feedback or revisions and find that piece of work within the assignment contextually. With an improved portfolio, it is now much easier to build up a record of evidence of student learning progress over time, capture those important moments from the classroom, empower students to reflect on their work, and pull out those key pieces of work you want to share with leaders or families at a parents' night, for example. So that are all in a whirlwind is all our teacher and classroom features. We focused a lot so far on those features for teachers, students, and families. If you're a Showbie admin, the next few features are for you. So first up is edit student details. This is a handy new feature in the Showbie admin dashboard, making it easier to stay in control of student accounts without having to rely on teachers or auditor accounts to make quick edits to student info. Admins can now directly edit student account information, including names and email addresses from the dashboard. And we've added the ability to remove a student's profile photo to prevent any inappropriate and probably inevitable abuse of that feature as well. With this handy admin control tool, you can keep your student lists up to date. You can better troubleshoot any issues that may arise. And more importantly, you can let teachers focus on teaching and learning rather than having them spend time tinkering with account information or working on those small administrative setup tasks. So this is a big quality of life improvement, building on all of the awesome work that our team has been doing to enhance the usability of the admin dashboard with tools to better manage teacher and student accounts. Also, another great improvement to the admin dashboard are improvements to our school analytics. So data is obviously a huge area of focus for us right now, as it is for you. We know how important up-to-date and relevant data is when it comes to decision-making, to evaluating your digital strategy, and the impact of technology on teaching and learning. We've improved our admin analytics offering, giving you deeper engagement insights at a school level aligned to pedagogy. In addition to a pretty substantial redesign of the admin analytics platform, we've also improved the definitions and the consistency of data visualizations, making it easier for you to find and analyze those key insights self-serve from your admin dashboard. In addition to that, we've also expanded the range of data collected, and we've added new snapshots, tables, and charts across the teacher, students and parents, and classes section of your admin analytics, so you can better spot those trends, identify challenges and opportunities, and better analyze evidence of success over much larger 90-day periods of time. With richer and deeper school-level engagement data, you have a better understanding of what teaching and learning looks like across your school. You can better target CPD, for example, and you can more effectively collect the insights you need to progress your digital strategy confidently. Now, school analytics is great. That's very exciting. It's a great improvement to the admin dashboard, but it gets even better and it gets even bigger. We've also leveraged all that good work rebuilding admin analytics at a school level into a new organizational view of your data, also now accessible self-serve from the admin dashboard. So the new organization tab gives you a window into the impact of technology on teaching and learning with organization-wide insights, allowing you to compare engagement metrics between schools across your trust or your council. Visualizing up to a year's worth of key data points aligned to pedagogy, you can see where schools have been successful and where training and development opportunities might be needed to help upskill staff around digital learning best practices. Taken together, our improvements to both school and organizational analytics really let you visualize the DNA of learning in practice and assess the impact of your digital strategies at scale. A couple notes on organization analytics. The organization analytics tab is only available to trust and council level admins, so individual schools won't be able to see other schools' data. And the organization analytics tab is also a limited time preview available until July 31st. So from August 1st onwards, the organization tab will only be available on a Showbie Complete plan. So that's a whirlwind introduction to the new features we've launched for you this spring. I'm sure you may have a lot of questions about all those things. We can certainly tackle some of those here, or feel free to reach out to our team. But now that you've had a chance to see what we've been up to, I'm very excited to pass the mic over to Colin to give you a sneak peek into our roadmap, guiding where we want to focus our attention in the coming year and some of the opportunities we want to work on to support teaching and learning for you. So I'm going to hand the mic back to Colin to give you that overview now.
All right. Thanks very much, Dan, and for the overview of all the things that are available and out for people to use right away. Looking forward to hearing your feedback. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how we're thinking about our product development going forward in the company and how it will align, we think, and hope, to how your school year operates. And I think, we've realized that we generally try to adhere to when you're going back to school and when you're in the active part of your school year with Showbie, but we're going to do a much better job at making sure that our big updates are done at periods where, uh, for instance, teachers aren't in the classroom, where this could be a big update that might kind of confuse them as to changes in the Showbie application. So, for example, in the fall of last year, we did some updates to Showbie that involved assignment status, and we've realized that that was not the best time to release something like that because teachers were already actively within the school year building up their assignments and running them. So making changes mid-school year to something so fundamental to their experience was not the best move. So as a result, we want to really make sure that big software updates that impact workflow for um, your educators and students and other stakeholders are done in advance of your next school year. And so I'll talk a little bit about that roadmap release cycle and realigning that, and then our future plans. All right, let's go into the release cycle. So part of the session we're having here today is all about aligning our releases to the academic calendar. And we do support Showbie customers in more than 20 countries with paid subscriptions for schools and districts. And so through that, there is some general focus around the summertime being the North American summertime, or Northern Hemisphere summertime, is when students are away, teachers are on a break, and then there's a period where we go back to school. The thing is that which is interesting for us is that back to school uh, in certain countries or certain regions might be as early as the first or second week of August, and then in others it's the first or second week of September. And so internally, what we've done is we've chosen July 31st to basically be ready with all of our software updates that are going to be impacting for your back to school, so that way you're able to prepare for that and hopefully educate your users and your organization on any sort of little changes that might be put out in the app that impacts them during the startup for your school year. So the software changes will be made by that point. But if we back up a little bit, we're sort of talking to you about some changes we've already made. And we do anticipate between the spring update and the back to school software ready for July 31st, we're going to have another session like this in June, which covers what exactly will be in that back to school ready package so that you're informed and you can share things like the video recording of the session or other materials throughout your organization. That way you're as ready as possible for back to school, even while we're still finalizing the software to be available in July, late July, so that you're ready to go when you come back in August and September. And then we've got a period that is when we're working away in the school year. So this would be when we're furthering some of the features that we've created, generally not putting in mega epic changes. Things that we might do similar to releases we've announced today in the spring update would probably be behind a labs flag so that people can opt in to it, as opposed to it just sort of presenting itself as a new way as they use the application. So there isn't any major changes to workflows for teachers throughout the year. So that's the kind of the three-step process that we're looking at. We would anticipate having things like a spring update again this time next year, back to school readiness, as well as into the following school year for more updates that we're going to be working away at. So that's what we have our organization set up to do now. We also will likely have some updates that come in bet season. We always push out some updates for bet. It hasn't been the most organized to this point, but I think going forward, we want to be really organized about pushing some value out for bet and having that ready well in advance of bet so we can talk to you about it when we're at that show. So those are the major points in the school year I wanted to highlight. Next. So here's some of the things that we're thinking about. Today we talked about in our spring update, the new iPad features that Dan Rose ran through. The portfolio improvement is a big part of that. Internally, we're calling that version 2.0 of the portfolio, and we'll do other updates to come as well in the future to even better it. And then we've got our organizational analytics that we released today and updates to the school analytics. In terms of what we're doing for back to school, we're making some updates to how assignments are structured based on feedback from all of you and your organizations, and stepping that up to a next level and enabling more flexibility around those. We're also working on an increased, it's quite a larger project. It's related to the Socrative integration with Showbie that some of you might be using for assessment. And we believe that this is a really vital component of Showbie, and it's a vital component to have it entirely experienced within the Showbie app. So we are working on a big update related to that and look forward to sharing more details at the next session in June that talks about that July 31st date. We're also working on some options with FIDA for Norway as well as MIS for the UK for the teacher and student sync, just making sure that it's a lot easier to set up accounts for teachers and students. And then we've got some features we're working on related to making sure that those spring update releases work also on the web application in Showbie. Currently, a lot of them are on iOS only for those new iPad features. And then we're also working on tracking improvements around assignments just to make it more efficient for teachers to basically get them to a done status. And then beyond that, we're working on updating the annotation feature set in Showbie. That's been along for since the beginning, really, of the Showbie app, and we want to add some more capability to that. We want to further the assessment capability into next year, and we also want to get into helping to track learning outcomes and rubrics with the type of activities that are running through Showbie. And we're considering also synchronization of class rosters with things like MIS as well as FIDA and other systems of record that have the class relationship. So that's what we're planning for back to school as well as into the next school year. I think that's it for me. Over to you, Dan.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Colin. So that is a whirlwind tour of where we've been and where we are headed. I don't see any questions having come in through Zoom, so we'll call that safe to say we're covered there for now. We have covered, of course, a ton of material. 8 new features is not a small amount of information to process. Like I said, we will share this video recording out after, and we'll share out a PDF version of this deck as well for you to start to investigate. All 4 of those first features are available in the product today, so you can go begin tinkering by turning those on in the Showbie Lab space. And of course, we would love to hear your feedback on everything you've seen here today once you've had a chance to tinker. If you do have any specific technical questions, you can always reach out to our lovely customer experience team for a more direct response. If you have some larger questions you'd like to sort of interrogate a bit further, of course, feel free to reach out to us through your AM or send your questions directly to your account manager, and we can get a hold of those folks as well and get a response back to you. On a quick closing note here, all the features that you have seen that we've launched here today were identified, scoped, and designed based on direct feedback from you. I've had the chance of meeting some of you folks I can see are here today on the call. I've had a chance to meet with some of you, and hopefully these are resonating well for you and that you're seeing your feedback come to life in the product. We truly do read every email and feature request you send in, and your feedback does help guide the future of the platform for educators and students around the world. So if you have ideas, please don't hesitate to share them with our team through our feature request form, or again, feel free to send that information over to your account manager, and we can make sure they'll make sure it gets to us, and we can have an awesome conversation about that. We're also happy to meet, of course. If you want to meet with us, again, just reach out to your account manager. But that brings our spring product launch to a close. I hope you have found this useful and exciting. We will be sharing these resources out again. So I think the big call to action is just go tinker with Showbie Labs, get to know these new features, let us know how they're working for you. We'd certainly love to hear what's working well and where we can continue to tweak and iterate. I can't wait to hear how these features get put to work to support your teaching and learning. And with that, I hope to see you again for our summer product launch. So from our team to you, thank you so much. And that is the end of that. Thanks, folks.